Hello everyone students. As we have discussed in our previous lecture about the Taylor's contribution in the principles of management, there we have discussed that the Taylor is an individual who have talked about the scientific management approach, and he is the individual who first time given the scientific management approach in terms of the management. Taylor is also called as the father of scientific management. So today in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the Henry Fayol. As there are some of the drawbacks that we have discussed earlier about the Taylor, with that for overcoming that drawbacks, this Henry Fayol have given some of its principles. The basic difference between the Taylor and Henry Fayol is that Taylor have talked about the principles from the superior subordinate point of view or from the employee's point of view, or we can say these principles are from the labor's point of view. But Henry Fayol, as he have worked on the position of managing director and when the company is on the verge of bankruptcy, so the principles that are given by the Henry Fayol are from the point of view or for the administrative department. Henry Fayol is also called as the father of general management. Henry Fayol have given the 14 principles of management. Henry Fayol identified various departments in the organization, such as marketing, finance, accounting, finance. These all departments are identified by the Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol says that not only this is the production department that have to be managed in the company, there were the other departments also that have to be managed. And all the principles that are given by Henry Fayol are from the administrative point of view. And therefore, the theory of Henry Fayol is also called as the administrative management theory. The very first principle that is given by Henry Fayol is division of work. Division of work can be explained as work is divided into small tasks, job, and each work is done by a trained specialist, which lead to greater efficiency, specialization, increased productivity, and reduction of unnecessary wastage and movements. That to increase the efficiency of workers, Fayol suggests that divide the work in the small tasks, small jobs, assign that small task and job to the trained specialist. When you assign the job, particular task and task is very much clear to the individual and the person is trained in that, it leads to greater efficiency of the worker, greater specialization of the worker, which in turn increase the productivity and obviously reduce unnecessary wastage and movements. I hope students, it's very much clear with you that work is divided into small tasks. Small task means the work overall that have to be done is divided into small tasks or small job. Each job, each task is assigned to the individual who is specialist in that, who is trained in that, which lead to greater efficiency and which in turn increase productivity and reduce unnecessary wastage and movements. Second principle that is given by Henry Fayol is authority and responsibility. Student, this authority means power. Power to take the decision. Means when you have the power for taking the decision, that is called as an authority. Responsibility means obligation to complete the task on time. Now, why we are talking about the authority and responsibility? As in the previous concept or at that time, the person have the responsibility to complete the job, but he don't have the authority to take the decision which are important for completion of the task on his own. For that decision, he have to go with top authorities or to others. What happened with that? If the person for every decision have to go to others for their discussion, what will happen? It will waste the time. And sometimes the very important work can be delayed or it leads to the inefficiency of the work. It can be happen the work doesn't complete it on the time. So authority means power to take decision. And responsibility means obligation to complete the job assigned or say. Now, Henry Fayol says that authority and responsibility should go hand in hand. Means if the person has the responsibility, so that person should also give an authority to take decision. If the person has the authority to take the decision, then the person should also have the responsibility to complete the task. Because if the person has the responsibility without authority, then the person or executive will be next interested in discharging his duty because he say that I have only the responsibility, but I don't have any power. So his interest in completion of task will be less. Or he can challenge various problems in completion of its task. Similarly, if the person has the authority but doesn't have the responsibility of the task, that authority makes him arrogant because he don't have the fear that if the decision gets wrong or if the work doesn't complete, then he or he should will be responsible because he is only have the power to take the decision but doesn't have its responsibility because that person output, that particular decision output doesn't making any impact on him or her. Therefore, he will not have a fear of misuse. He will not have the fear of wrong decisions. And he can't use misuse of its power. So Henry Fayol says that authority and responsibility both are very much important. They both have to go hand in hand. If the person have the authority, he should have the responsibility. And if the person have the responsibility, he should have the authority. It shall not be there that only responsibility with the person or only authority with the person. Because if the person have less authority than the responsibility, then it's also the problem for the person. And if the person have more responsibility, less authority, then it's also a big problem. So in both the cases, this should be done. Next, discipline. What it means discipline? Discipline means rules and regulations. Discipline requires good supervisors at all levels, clear and fair agreements, and judicious applications of penalties. It is the obedience to organizational rules by the subordinates. Discipline requires good supervisors at all levels, clear and fair agreements, and judicious applications of penalties. Discipline says that all the rules and regulations should be fair. Every subordinate should be obedient to the organizational rules. Rules and regulations should be very much clear. It should be requires a good supervision. Agreement should be very much fair. And all the penalties should be applied in a proper manner. There should be a proper and a fair regulation of rules in the organization. Next, unity of command. This is very important. Henry Fayol says that every worker should receive order and instructions from one superior only. Otherwise, it will create confusion, conflict, disturbance, and overlapping of activities. For example, if I am a subordinate, I have a two boss. I get the command from both the bosses. What will happen? I can't able to identify to whom I have to follow. One supervisor is saying that today you have to complete this task or production task. One supervisor is saying that you have to give me all details. Now what will be in my mind? Whether I will complete the production task or I will submit the report. Because both the works can't be happen at the same time. And I can't deny both of them because both are my bosses. So many a times when you have two bosses and you get the command from these two bosses, it will create confusion, conflict and disturbance and overlapping of activities in your mind. And the workers didn't get their full efficiency because they get confused that to whom to follow. to whom orders they have to follow, to whom orders they have to complete the work, and which work have to be completed at first. That is unity of command. Another one, unity of direction. Unity of direction means each group of activities should have a one plan only, one head only. All the persons should be directed towards one direction only. Every person should have the same objective. They ensure unity of action and coordination. Everybody work in full coordination, in teamwork, and directed towards the one goal. They directed towards the one objective, and they directed towards the one head. So each group of activities should have same objective, should have one head, should have one plan, and this ensures unity of action and coordination. Students, till now we have discussed about 5 principles of management. I'm repeating again before continuing further. First, we have discussed about division of work, which says that the work should be divided into small tasks, and each task should be given to the specialized individual, which ensure that work will be completed with the full efficiency in a proper manner, and workers' efficiency also get increased and productivity also get increased, because if the person is specialized and do it small tasks in a greater efficiency way, obviously he complete the work in less time. Second, we have discussed about authority and responsibility. Authority, I'm again explaining, it's a power to make the decision. Responsibility means obligation to complete the job assigned on time. Authority and responsibility should be go hand in hand. If the person have responsibility but doesn't have the authority, the person didn't do its task with greater interest. For generating interest and to complete the task on time, it is important that the person who are having the responsibility also have some authority for taking the decisions. Similarly, if the person have authority and doesn't have the responsibility, it's a chance that can misuse its power. So it's very important, if the person have the authority to take the decision, he also have the responsibility of that decision. Discipline. A person should be obedient to the organization rules by the subordinates. Discipline requires good supervision at all levels. It should have the clear and fair agreements and the judicious applications of penalties. Unity of command. It means that every worker should receive the instructions from one boss only. Every worker should follow one individual only, because if the person receives a command from 2 superiors, then it can happen, then it can create that confusion, conflict, disturbance, and overlapping of activities. Unity of direction. Each group of activities should have the same objective. They should be on the same head. They should be on the same plan, which ensures unity of action and coordination. Now, moving further, we talked about the 6th principles of management, that is subordination of individual interest to general interest. This principle says that the interest of organization should be on the priority one. If it's any point that individual interest conflict with the organizational interest, the person should forego its interest and should direct its goals toward the organizational interest. For example, if there is a subordinate whose interest is to getting promoted on the post of the manager, but it's important to complete the task of the organization or to complete the target, and at that time another individual is promoted on that particular managerial post, so that the task will be completed. So at that time, that subordinate, he want to be on the post of the manager but can't be made, because that is a requirement of the organization at that time. That person could not be promoted. So that person should forego that interest and should direct its activities towards the organization goals. Organization goals should always take on the priority over the interest of another individual employee. No interest of any subordinates should be taken on the priority basis. Only the interest of the organization should be taken on the priority basis. Organization should be taken always on the priority level.